Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you, Andrea?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Yeah, today we have a session where we'll talk a little bit about advice for founders because we have found that a lot of our clients are actually founders. And that is, for example, physicians, nurse practitioners, or other healers and healthcare professionals who decide to escape their version of the rat race and start their own private practice. And one very key element that a lot of those people do not realize is that they actually have opted to become a business owner. And by the way, tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time, I have a webinar to talk more about that. It's about an hour long. I have blended in the information. Go to shanks.healthcare to find out more. But today in our live, we'll go over 5 pieces of advice that the co-founder of Hubspot, Dharmesh, I believe is his name, if I pronounce that correctly, has released recently in an AMA. AMA standing for Ask Me Anything. And Andrea, we have gone over those and kind of taken a look how those pieces of advice pertain to our business. What was the first advice he has given?
Yeah, the first one was pretty good. It's remember you're solving for building the best business you can.
Yeah. So this is, of course, something that is so essential and so simple and yet so hard. And what I really like about it is that it applies to any new business, even if it is not a novel idea. For example, what we are doing in marketing is not novel at all. What physicians are doing in making people healthy is not novel at all. However, what can be made different is the way you deliver your service. And what we have chosen is to put the client first in very special ways. For example, what we did is we had these plans that basically consisted of an all you can consume type of formula that we had with our monthly retainer clients. And now actually we worked that a little bit, but by having weekly check-ins, I think that is the most important part. We were always sure to address whatever was on top of the client's mind at that point. Andrea, we do have a client in the healthcare delivery space that has taken the business of delivering healthcare and made it better, made it the best possible healthcare delivery system, and that is direct primary care.
Absolutely. So the second piece of advice I really love because especially in this day and age, I think I really feel it, and it's that building a great business means attracting great people. This is never easy, but it's often even harder for in a startup because you're competing against bigger companies that can pay more. They have catered lunches, they have a lot of perks.
Yep, that is a tough one. And I want to say we have solved that somewhat nicely by always having been interested in what team members care about. Every person who joins your team has something that drives them, that fuels them. And in today's day and age, you just have to find the intersection of your business interest and your team members' interest. And it is really at the intersection where the magic happens. But it's not easy. And it requires a lot of open mindedness. It requires being willing to explore new ways of management. And um, if you open a new practice, it will most likely have to do with embracing your team's ideas instead of just enforcing your own. Every individual nowadays wants to also grow in their own way. A lot
Yes.
of people want to build their own online influence, if you will, and you have to decide whether you want to let that happen or not.
That brings me to our third, and I remember in our last company chat that one of our team members said that they were learning new things and that they appreciate that. And so the third is that in order to attract and retain great people, you'll need to give them autonomy so they can try things. And yes, sometimes fail. That's how we learn. And the
Yeah,
best people are there to learn. It basically, if they're not learning, they're not staying.
no. Yeah, that is a very interesting one as well. A lot of these tips are actually drastically different from what the situation would have been 10 to 15 years ago, where really an employee was just supposed to execute your ideas, your internal processes. And nowadays, if you want to retain talent, and we are actually quite good at that, Andrea, because when we speak with other business owners, they all have a high turnover rate. They have difficulty attracting and retaining talent, and quite frankly, we don't have that. And
But
yes.
sorry, I just had to interject and say that I don't know. I think I might have a different opinion about it only being recent that people are having the opportunity
Hmm.
to learn. What I would say is that it was only, it started C-suite and down. So you would take your C-suite and go somewhere and they'd do some training, or maybe with your executive team or the people in management. And it was never, weren't we talking about this before? How that
Mhm.
opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah. Do you mean C-suite and up or
Yes.
down? Yeah, up. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But I think what I wanted to say is you could get away with it 10, 15 years ago, but now you can't anymore.
Yes, yes.
Because what happens if you don't give growth opportunities to your team members, they'll walk away.
Absolutely. And it's kind of a good thing because I noticed in your leadership, people always come in thinking they're doing one thing. And it's not that, you dupe them and they do another, but you give them the opportunity to explore and learn themselves and to grow because they're trying something different. And you never keep people in things they don't like. The thing that they stay in is something that they really like, that they were naturally good at because you're good at scouting potential, and they're growing and learning. And I think that that is fascinating. And that is definitely a way to retain talent.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of related to this concept of team of teams that we try to implement, and we are actually implementing here at Shanks. And it's really an ideology that has a kind of, there is a perfect version of doing it, but you can never be perfect at it because it is just so difficult to reach that state of team of teams. But do you want to briefly explain a team of teams and why within that concept individual growth is so vital?
Well, Team of Teams is all about empowerment. It's all about getting rid of hierarchy and having the team really truly comprehend that, well, first of all, they got to understand their craft, and then they can understand how to make decisions for themselves and work together like an awesome organism that, everything kind of goes off on a hitch, without a hitch, I'm sorry. And it's not that everything is perfect, but the team is comfortable making decisions without every single time having to go to through this chain of command. And it's really kind of one of our team always says best idea wins. Well,
Mhm.
obviously you have to exchange ideas and you have to be adaptable, but it really gets rid of bottleneck because there's only one CEO, only one COO, and if people don't have the autonomy to be able to work like together independently, then you're going to be really super limited to how far you can go.
Right. What's the next tip that
Agile.
we were?
Oh, right. The next question, you do everything. I'm sorry. The next point is you
Yeah.
doing everything and being involved in every decision just won't scale. So this goes perfectly with what we're saying. There are only so many hours in a day or days in a week, and chances are you're already working too much.
Oh yeah. So this is a huge one, and that's an element actually that I am struggling a little bit with as a CEO, because I used to be a freelancer, jack of all trades, and then the company grew, and I still have my hands in every aspect, and I'm trying to pull my hands out, but it's really difficult because they're just sometimes stuck a little bit. But we're getting better, and I would say this is a great, great piece of advice that if you are a new founder, just do everything in a way where you know it's a system that can be replicated. Really,
And team of
that's,
teams if you can.
I'm sorry.
I said, and team of teams if you can.
Yeah, but the team of teams needs to still be able to follow a system. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's no, because if you have team of teams without a system and a blueprint, then you have anarchy, truly. And there need to be those guidelines, and that's actually a fine line to walk as well. Because yes, you want your team of teams to be independent, but you don't want them to do whatever the heck they want. So there's a fine line of
Well, and
them.
that makes sense because if you go to a restaurant and you order a dish, you expect that dish to be what is on the menu. And it's very important that consumers' expectations are matched.
Hmm.
So if your team or the chef decides, I'm really feeling like rigatoni right now. I know this sounds like a salad or pasta with, you know, pesto, but I'm gonna make rigatoni. And then your customer is gonna be like, see you never. Even if it was delicious, that's not what I wanted or ordered. So
Mm.
following a system and meeting expectations is important. I agree. So the
All
last
right.
one here
Yep.
is there is a profound joy in seeing people you recruited and added to the team succeed and grow and help you build the company and give yourself that joy. And I feel like that we kind of covered that a little bit when we talk about, attracting and retaining talent as well. But
Yeah, well,
on that,
for me, I have to say that when I started growing a business, I thought that making money was going to be the funnest part. And don't get me wrong, I love it. But there is really a aspect that is at least at the same level, and that is seeing the joy that the team has. And here at Shanks, we have this adage of PSL, which stands for,
predictability, stability, and longevity.
yeah, and see the fact that Andrea knows that being put on the spot like that just tells you how important PSL is in our company. And I would just urge everyone, take these 5 pieces of advice to heart. This was our version of it. And if you are a healthcare professional who is about to start her or his own private practice, then go and log on to shanks.healthcare. And by doing so, you will be able to join me for a live webinar tonight where we'll discuss how you can easily market yourself in a novel way. And that's it for now. I hope you have had or you will have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye bye.